So, in the end of my last video, I talked about how I saw a clothing brand incorporate something similar from an animation standpoint that I was doing, right? Shortly or a couple months after I, maybe tagged them in a post. And I'll be honest, the initial thought process was frustrating, right? I was like, man, this clothing brand, they probably saw my post and they copied it and blah, blah, blah. How dare they took my idea. But then I took a step back and I told myself, look, exactly what I told you all, a couple things. My ideas are not that great, okay? And if they are so great and I care about them so much, then maybe I'm not that creative, right? If I'm so worried about one single idea being recreated, then they're probably not that special, okay? And in addition to that, the reality is social media is not a competitive forum. It's a collaborative one, right? When I post something on social media, I am essentially saying, hey, please recreate this idea into your own. And if I don't want that to happen, then I shouldn't post it, okay? So I had to teach myself to take a step back and remind myself that, hey, we're not gonna play the victim card here, right? And the reality is this brand probably didn't copy me, right? They probably just had this idea on their own. So I had to stop creating these narratives in my head. After I tried to get myself into a more mature mindset, after going through this for some years, I said, okay, what now, right? Because this brand, they have more followers, they probably have a higher budget, they certainly have a better network than me. And just overall, they have more credibility. So I'm gonna lose on all three fronts if I try to compete with them, right? Even though I've been working on this for a couple of years, and maybe this one, it just seems like they started it a month ago. The reality is they're gonna win, right? And I hate to say that, but they just are. However, I can't beat them in their own game, right? This brand has very high clothing products. They are gonna beat me 10 times out of 10, I'll be honest. But maybe I lean into what my strengths are, right? Maybe instead of my brand focusing on the clothing, I'm focusing on the story, right? It's not about the clothing products, it's about the story, right? It's about hitting those emotional heartstrings of that story and doing so that reflects my personality, whether that's humor, whether that's just things that I'm feeling. That's how I'm gonna win, is not by trying to keep up with the Joneses and try to keep up with an episode each week, which, to be honest with you, animation, it's not cheap, right? Doing hand-drawn animations, you have to get an animator. I go overseas. It can be a lot of money. And for someone who is working a 9-to-5 job, it's just not viable, or it would not be financially advisable for me to try to keep up with the same pace that this other brand is going to do it. So how can I beat them? Okay, I'm going to focus on the story. I'm going to focus on the emotions of the story. Sure, maybe this other brand has a lot more settings, the colors are better, maybe you have more characters, but maybe we do the reverse. Maybe we focus and make it more of a simple story. Maybe we make, they have longer clips, maybe we make ours shorter, okay? Another thing, maybe we provide context. So in my podcasts, one of the things that I think, in my opinion, makes it unique is we look at it as the cast, right, instead of the podcast. So when you go to the podcast, pod is crossed out and it just says the cast. And so now people are getting the idea. It's like, okay, this used to be a podcast reimagined into a short animation series. So just some other ideas in my head on how I could differentiate myself with the budget that I have. Maybe instead of every week or every other day I'm posting something, which is not financially viable, maybe my strength is, hey, maybe I post something once a month, right? And if I'm doing high quantity of animations, then that means the quality or the emotion within each clip is not significant enough. So maybe I do one a month where it's simple, but it creates a more powerful emotion. Okay, so if you are starting a business, right? If you are creating art, maybe if you're trying to get a promotion, maybe even applying to dating, right? We can't keep up with the Joneses, right? It's especially in social media. This is just a game, and you got to focus on the resources that you have. And if I try to beat someone at their own game, I'm not going to win. I'm just not. So wanted to share those thoughts out there, because maybe especially if you're creative, right? We do take pride in our ideas. Even though I tell myself ideas don't matter and I try to let go of them, we still do, because that's what we see as making someone creative. But again, if I'm so worried about an idea being stolen, then maybe I'm not that creative, right? So creativity is making the most of the resources that you have. So I'm done talking. I'm gonna shut the hell up. But wanted to get that out there, because occasionally it can be discouraging when you see something similar. Maybe you say, hey, you're not that creative. Maybe you just stop because someone else is doing it. Maybe you pivot to another thing. It's like, no, I'm gonna do my best to commit to this thing, but I'm just gonna focus on the story and the emotion of the story, because they can't take that away, right? So, appreciate y'all, and peace out. I'm done.